everybody, happy Sunday. It's week 17, can you believe it? We are going to draw to see what we're going to make this week, and then I'm going to make some earrings. Just playing around, just thought it'd be a fun project to do today. So hopefully you all have had a great weekend. I'm Paula Montgomery from Desert Cat Creations, and I want to welcome you to the Bead Stash Challenge. Every week we draw for cards to see what we're going to make on Sunday, and then on Saturday or on Thursday we make our project live to show you, different techniques, different things to do. The idea behind Bead Stash Challenge is to get you to use all those lovely beads that you've bought and are saving and tucked away, in your however you store them. And my storage is not very good either, so that's why I need a couple days to go dig through my stash to find out what I'm gonna make, or what I'm gonna use in my project that I'm gonna make for you guys on Thursdays. So anyways, Bead Stash Challenge is a fun design. You can pop in at any time. You can join us. You can join our Bead Stash Challengers group, which I forgot to put the link up. Let me put the link up. Come on. There it is. All right. You can join our Bead Stash Challengers group, which is where we share our designs that we make. You also get heads up of any new products that I'm putting out. I do have a couple of kits in the works, as well as I'm looking at getting some new cards, and we will have some bead mixes to go with those card decks once I get them in stock, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. We're running a little late, so let's flip the camera and draw our cards, see what we are going to make on Thursday. Zoom in a little bit here. All right, so Bead Stash Challenge has 3 types of cards. We currently have 5 decks out. Our first deck is deck 1, which is generic. It should work with pretty much any stash of beads, as well as any of those monthly kits you get if you're one of those subscribers or purchase some of those monthly bead kits. Then we have add-on decks or expansion decks if you're a gamer, right? So we have our color deck, which adds everything color and gets you out of using the same color all the time. We have our non-jewelry and findings expansion, which has you do things like make bookmarks, or last week we made this cake tester. All right, so, and it has you make findings and use all those findings that you might have in your stash. Now, findings, tend to be like metal stuff, right? So clasps, spacer beads, all those kind of things that you buy when you're making jewelry. We also have 2 themed decks. We have our Sun and Sea deck, which is a lovely deck for this time of year because it gets you thinking about vacation and beaches and summer. And then we have our Desert Southwest deck, which is pays homage to where I live in Arizona, as well as, New Mexico, Texas, California, all these surrounding areas that have some desert to them. So I have all those shuffled together. So our make cards are going to help us decide what to make this week. I take the cards out until I run out of cards in my deck, and then I replace them, or I will flip them over and reshuffle and everything once we reach the end, because I want to make sure you guys see everything. Ooh, we're going to make a beaded sculpture. All right, so you guys know I love beaded sculptures, right? So that's how our bunny kit is a beaded sculpture. Our cactus kits, which surprisingly I do not have any sitting here on my desk at the moment. Anyways, beaded sculpture. All right, that's gonna be fun. So let's see what we're gonna use. So this is the stuff that we pull out of our stash to use on our weekly project. Hey, Lorraine. I'm just getting here to drawing our cards today. We're going to see what we are going to use to make our beaded sculpture. So, that will be... I'm always a little unsure when it tells me I have to make a beaded sculpture, what I'm going to draw. Use silver, beads, or metal in my design. That one works. I can handle that. All right. Use some neon colors in our design. All right. Yeah, we could do that too. And use a toggle clasp in our design. Now, I think I'm not going to use a clasp in my sculpture. Now I could. Last time I had to use a bail in my sculpture, which I did, but let's see. Use a focal bead and I could do that. All right. Turn that over for those of you that are looking at it on the screen here. So, all right, the last of our cards is the challenge deck. And these help us apply a theme or some sort of design aspect. You know, like last week we had to do a yacht design or multi-strand on our cake tester. So that was our challenge. But, you know, it makes you come up with different things that you might not have thought of. All right, that's our challenge deck. We have to design something inspired by Mexican food. Okay. All right. It's going to take a little thinking this week, but I'm sure I will come up with something. So we are going to make a beaded sculpture inspired by Mexican food. So this is obviously from our Desert Southwest deck. We have to use a focal bead, we have to use neon colors, and we have to use silver in our beaded sculpture. All right. Wow. I actually have some ideas already. So we'll see. I have no idea what beads I'm going to use, but I have some ideas on a sculpture. So, all right. We'll see how that goes. So, all right. Kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. So I thought we'd make some earrings today. I wanted to mess around with some components that came in Bargain Bead Box this month. Okay. So they're these fun wavy components, and they have a hole in here, so you're not just dangling them. There is a hole. Okay. So we're going to talk about how to use that, because the hole's not big enough for you to put like a dangle and something. So, you know, if you want something hanging in this hole, we have to think about that a little bit, right? All right, I got some. And then, so also in this month's project is Amazonite. So you guys know I love Amazonite, right? So we've got some 6 millimeter. Whoops. Throwing beads already. Kind of early for that, isn't it? We got some 8 millimeter Amazonites. We've got some crystals that are in seafoam, but they look really pretty with this Amazonite. I also pulled out some spacer beads. These are interesting shape. I thought we could consider using them. It's kind of like a textured bicone, maybe, I guess. They call it a Baroque textured nugget, but it kind of looks bicone shaped. All right. There's also some little tiny rondelles. let's think about this a little. So I thought what I would like to do, now when I look at my screen that I'm recording from, it looks like I'm zoomed in way more than when I'm looking at my other screen, which is the view that you guys are seeing. All right, so anyways, I think we'll I want to do that. I want to like put a dangle in there. That much I know I want to do, right? So then I don't know, you know, if I want to make them just silvery, I could make that design, right? I think we could also add like one of these little rondelles on either side of that to add a little color. Let me get these other. Yeah, Lorraine, I know you like Amazonite as much as I do too. The other thought I was thinking, see that? I literally just jumped off my table. I'll have to find it. Find it later. Good thing I have more than one bead here, huh? Hey, Janelle, these beads may look familiar to you. We're gonna make a little pair of earrings, I think. So I could make them long and do something like that. I kind of like that. I don't know. Or we could just use the Amazonite or just the silver. What do you guys think? Should I make them three layers or 2 layers? So I know I'm going to have to put these ones on a head pin. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. You like the 3 layers, Janelda? So let's talk a little bit about, so, you know, if this was thicker, you only have room for one wire through that hole. So that wire's either got to connect up or connect to the dangles. So how you get around that is you make these dangles their own dangles, okay? I know it's a lot of dangles, isn't it? I don't know. So I want it to hang down a little bit. So I am just going to make this, all right, into a dangle. You like long dangly earrings? You know, I used to not, but I do these days. I'm wearing long dangly earrings right now. All right, so I am just making a wrapped loop. You know, you could do a simple loop if you wanted to. I prefer wrapped loops because I'm a glutton for punishment, I think. All right, so I am just gonna, I made my loop there. I'm just gonna grab this loop, and we're not connecting it to anything at the moment. I'm going to use my other pliers so I can pull it nice and tight. These are pretty thick head pins that I'm using. All right, and then we are going to take that end and tuck it in. So I have a nice little dangle there. All right, let's check the length. So if I line up the holes, it's gonna hang right in the middle. I think that's perfect. All right, so let's make a second one because I have 2 ears. You hate simple. I don't like simple loops either. I don't. Although, you know, they can be quicker if you are really good at them, but they come apart. I only use them in my sculptures. I don't use them much in my jewelry. Just. All right, so we're curving this around again. And again, I'm using my pliers so I can pull it tighter than I can with my fingers. And we're going to go around about 2.5. And we're going to, oops, that went a little long. Tuck that in. And again, we line up the that, and it's gonna be perfect. Woo. All right, so now let's, since those are thick, I'm gonna stick with doing 20 gauge here. Just actually, well, yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with doing 20 gauge. So let's since I like to work off the spool, I'm gonna put my bead on first. All right, and we're gonna make a wrap loop, so I'm gonna go down about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to make probably a little bigger loop than I normally would because I have to fit things onto this loop, okay? So I've got my loop. And I'm going to, you know what? I don't want to put that one up first. Well, all right, let's put the loop on, or the big loop on first. There's a front and a back, which matters when you're, so I'm making this the front, so I want to put my dangle in the front, but I could make a dangle from the back. I just, you know, want to make sure I'm consistent as I'm making my pair of earrings. And I'm going to hold on to that loop so I can wrap this around. So those of you that know me know I love to go walking this time of year. I got some beautiful pictures of flowers yesterday. The saguaro cactus are blooming. This is my favorite time of year here. Now, my wire's stretched out a little, so I'm going to push down with this bead. But so yeah, let's see what we got here. All right, having troubles making it dangle in a direction. All right, but there we go. So let's make a little loop up here. Then it'll be easier for me to show you what's going on here. So we are just doing some wire wrapping today. Now, since I'm still on the spool, I can use the length of wire to pull that tight, as opposed to the, you know, having to use my pliers. Now, I'm not going to worry about this loop, although sometimes, you know, it looks better if we have them both going the same. They either go to go the same direction. So this one's facing forward, or I could flip that one and make my upper one do it. But what do you guys think so far? So, what a fun design. See, I could stop there. But let's see what the other, you know, we can always change our mind if we don't like what it looks like with the third loop, right? All right, so here we go. We're making another wrap loop. So we do our 90 degrees. Stick our round nose pliers in that bend. And bring the wire around until we have a nice loop there. And then, let's, yeah. All right, we'll do this. You know, we can always cut it off. So if we decide we don't like it, but. You guys did great on your week 16 designs. I love seeing all the creativity. All right. So that's what it's going to look like with the this other bead. Do you guys think that I need to add some color around that silver bead? Or do you think it's okay by itself? I think it's okay. But maybe we'll add some rondelles to our, you're enjoying the job. Well, that's good. I'm glad you guys have joined me on this journey, because, you know, it's no fun doing it all by yourself, right? All right. So we're not adding any color. I'm just doing a big silver blob here. Okay. Let's tuck that in. Careful not to crush my spacer. These seem pretty sturdy, but they might be. Your make card is perfect for you. Okay. Now I'm curious to see what you're going to be making. All right. So we got one earring. let's do the other one. Look at that. All right, so remember we put our bead on first. And we're going to make our loop. Not being cooperative. Okay. Have to put that on the other way so I can make sure this. You may have to make a pair. Yeah, I was going through last night. I was like, what do I want to make today? And then I was like, you know what? These would be fun to mess around with. All right. Come on. You know, you can never have too much Amazonite, right? Right, I'm trying to not crush things here, but things are not being... Wouldn't be a show if I didn't have a little bit of a struggle, right, guys? All right. Yeah, these wavy links are kind of fun. I wasn't sure about them at first, but I think I'm gonna like this. It's so much quicker when I can just pull that wire around, isn't it? You know, you could even see, if we were to draw the mismatched, we could make one short and one long. Yeah, I know, Janelle. Like I said, I had to order that one too. Lorraine, if you don't know what we're talking about, the Bargain Bead Box. So this is their monthly kit for. I can see that one offhand. Drama. This is this month's kit, so Amazonite is fun. And then they had a special kit that was, they called it a Cactus Blooms kit, which, we already had our Desert Blooms bead mix, but it's got lots of cactus stuff, and everything's in gold, and so that was the other reason why I bought it. Normally I don't, you guys know I'm more of a silver person, but which is why I thought it'd be nice to have some gold. But it was not cheap, but at least got a discount with the codes, so. And free shipping. It had free shipping, Janelda, so. Free shipping and your discount code was an option, so. I'll post up some of the pretty cactus pictures from yesterday when I get a chance. Now when you're trying to bend something in, in a circle to wrap this, gentle is the name of the game. Otherwise your wire is going to go everywhere but where you want it to. And sometimes putting the bead against it is helpful, so. All right. Woo, we're almost there, yay. Okay, Lorraine, I'll definitely post up some pictures. And I don't think I got any people in them, so yeah, those of you that are friends with me, I posted a picture of a cactus, and it was actually one I took last year. And when I was looking through my pictures, like, trying to clean off pictures on my phone before my vacation, I noticed there was a person sitting in the cactus. It looks like it, but there's actually a bench back there, but it was too funny. I had fun with that. All right. There we go. Yay. All right, now we need some mirror wires. So, let's see. I can put some of this stuff away while I was do you think, is that, if that's busy enough? Oh, you just started ordering it. Okay, Lorraine. So you're gonna have fun with us, I guess. Did you get this box, Lorraine? So should I make beaded ear wires with some of these little rondelles, or do you think it's a lot of silver? I think I may be beaded ones. You love this box. I love this box too. But I will say every once in a while there's boxes I don't not too excited about, but Amazonite's always good. All right, so we're gonna make our own ear wires. I'm gonna put some rondelles on them to add a little color up there at the top. So remember when we make ear wires that we want to put beads on. Let's get our ruler out. We need about 2 inches. It depends on the size of your bead, okay? So I would say a minimum of 2 inches per ear wire. And remember, if you're making your own ear wires and you're going to give them to somebody else or make them for somebody else, make sure you're using wire that is nickel and lead free. Okay. Sorry, I was reading comments. I got distracted. They're so cool. They're definitely worth it. Oh, okay. Yeah. These came out better than I thought they would. All right, let me get my little file thingy. Where's? Oops, wrong drawer. I forgot I was going to make ear wires. So I'm going to just use this little, it's a knife sharpener, but it works great for, and I'm not sharpening, but I'm smoothing the ends of my wire. Well, you guys are welcome as always, to copy my designs. I don't get upset. I actually think it's an honor if somebody wants to copy my designs. Okay. So remember, we're going to make a beaded ear loop. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my 6-step looper and I am going to make a loop using the smallest one on here. All right, and then, so basically I'm making an eye pin. And then I'm going to put some stones on there. I think 2, just with the size of these. Normally I would put 3, but I think 2, since these are already going to be so long, is plenty. And then I'm going to, I guess I do need my pliers. I'm going to bend that right at the top of those beads. And then I'm going to slide that in. And you want the opening, the side that's opening, so it'll be towards the back of the earring. So I always want to fold this around the side that opening is, okay? And once you bend it, I find that my beads will come off if I don't put a really sharp bend in here. So if you lay your earrings down to store them, they will come off. But then we're going to put a little knot in there. All right, so let's do that again. Did I break the neck? Is that what somebody else calls it? I don't know. Again, we're doing the small loop. Now, if you're anybody who has wrist problems, you know, if you push the wire with your hands rather than using your wrist to turn, it's better for you if you're doing a lot of this. Not that I'm a medical expert, so. After I made my first loop, I don't know. Sorry, Janelda, I'm not following, so maybe that's a terminology that somebody else uses that I'm just not used to. So. All right, so remember, I'm going to, yes, I did, okay. And remember, I want the opening side facing the back of the earring. So I'm bringing that around. Like I said, I like to use the biggest loop. You could use the next one down. It'd be fine for most people. I don't know why I like the look of the bigger loops. And then again, I'm gonna just bend this a little more so that those beads don't come off when my earring is laying down. All right, so we've got a couple of ear wires. Woohoo! All right, so let's put them on our earrings because, you know, these are nice long lovelies, right? But remember, we do have a forward. We do have a front of the bottom part of our earrings, so make sure you put them on going the right direction. And remember, we twist this. We don't pull on it. We don't bend it. We twist it open. So let's do that again. So here's our ear wire. I'm grabbing the one side. I'm twisting. Call it breaking the neck. So it looks like a lollipop. Okay. I was not familiar with that. I learned to make ear wires from, if you're familiar with Sunroom Studios, they make all that polymer clay stuff that stars beads. Sells sometimes that are so pretty. I took a class from the mother, Sally Stevens. She used to do a lot of stuff in the you know, like the bead magazines and stuff. And she taught a class of just basic stuff. It was really good. So I guess these end up being about the same length as my as our butterfly earrings, which we do still have kits for if anybody's interested. Or if you have your own beads and just want some butterflies, let me know. I'm sure I could make that happen. All right, I'm going to put these on. All right, where's my... There you go. So... Oh, yeah. I like those. Got lots of movement. Your dangle can move. And since everything is wire wrapped, it moves. Yay. There was a time when I wouldn't have worn earrings this long, but actually, I like them. I like them now. So. As long as they're not real heavy. These ones are borderline being heavy, but they're not too bad. So, all right, yay! We used our Bargain Bead Box. We made a fun pair of earrings. You would wear. Yeah, it might be a little challenging with the stud earwire. I don't know. I've been thinking about getting a second piercing in my ear, but I haven't. Still haven't made up my mind. I keep going back and forth, you know, because, you know, I love piling on jewelry, so it would allow me to pile on more earrings. So it'd be all good, right? Oh, goodness. All right. Well, thanks for helping me out, or at least watching. Like I said, those wavy discs were a little bit tricky to figure out, you know, how to get things going up and down at the same time, but it all worked out. The older you get, the longer you like your... Yeah, I guess, you know, when I used to be in the workspace too, it was a very conservative place, and so, you know, we wore the suits, the you know, really traditional suits, and not a whole lot of flashy jewelry, so... But now that this is my work, it makes more sense, right? I guess my, it's weird. My screen is way behind. Anyways, all right, you guys know it. We are making a beaded sculpture on, you want a third, but not... Okay. We are going to make a beaded sculpture on Thursday. You guys know that sometimes good things come out of that. Last time, I don't remember, was last time our pig? It might have been our pig. Yeah. You're free to be... Yep. And we're going to use silver in our sculpture. We're going to use neon colors in our sculpture. We are going to use a focal bead in our design, and it's going to be inspired by Mexican food, so there you go. So I don't know exactly what we're making, but I have to say the thoughts are flowing in my head right now, so it's gonna be fun. Coming up with a new sculpture this week, which I'm continuing to work on other sculptures. I got the rest of my beads in, so I don't have any excuse on not finishing up my prototypes for the quails or the my cat. So I will be working on that. What else was, oh, yeah, that's the other thing. These that I've been seeing as I've been walking lately, with besides the blooms, is all the baby quails. They're so cute because you get like 2 parents and there's maybe like 20 little birds flying behind them, and they all panic. And some of them I've seen had to have been like, you know, a day old. They were so tiny. But it's so cute to see them all zooming around and following mom and dad. And there's always a few stragglers that'll be like, wait. Anyways, all right. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'm going to have fun coming up with my Mexican food-inspired beaded sculpture this week. So I will see you all, you know, online or around in the different places that we all hang out in, and I'll be back on Thursday. If you haven't already, please like and follow Desert Cat Creations on YouTube, or on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. So you missed them, Lorraine. I'll send you a video of. Well, I'll post it in our group. How's that? In the bead from last year where I had some going through my yard. They were so cute. I'll have to put that one up there. But all right, I look forward to seeing whatever you guys are creating this week. And like I said, if you ever have any questions, please direct message me, or you can click the email in any of our sources to get a hold of me, and I will answer you as soon as I can. So see you all on Thursday. Bye.